how 27 agents sold 104 homes in a month. Welcome back to another episode of All or Nothing in Real Estate. Hey, your host, Matt Smith here, founder of All or Nothing in Real Estate. Just a reminder, this podcast is a movement to give back to this amazing industry. It's given so much to me and my family. And today we have a very, very special episode. As I mentioned, my family in the intro. Right now, as we speak, as I'm recording this intro, I'm taking my family to Universal Studios. So that means you get a very special podcast this week. So I was blessed and honored to speak at an amazing Maverick business leadership mastermind event recently, and I spoke on how 27 agents sold 104 homes in a month. I broke down the entire process on the standards, the principles, the accountability, the recruiting, just the things that are actually working. I've got a lot of great feedback on it, and I know that it'll help you in your business, whether you're a single agent, whether you're a team leader, whether you're a broker owner. These principles are proven and tested, and so I know that they will help you. Yeah, just enjoy. I know it'll be a good one for you guys. It'd be a little unorthodox because it's a repurposing of the speech that I did at the event, but there's a lot of great content there, so enjoy.
He went from working out of his basement to number 15 in the nation in just 4 short years. He's the owner of Matt Smith Real Estate Group in small town Missouri. His team is currently made up of 39 people, and 23 of those are agents. In one single month, those 23 agents sold 100 homes with only 18 agents. They joined the ranks of Inc. 5000's fast-growing company in 2021. As a matter of fact, they were in the top third of that list. Matt Smith Real Estate Group ranks number 1 in his marketplace for 5 years in a row. In 2021, his team closed 757 homes with the tools and coaching that Matt provides his team. He was able to teach one of his agents to sell 100 homes in her first year of real estate. This is just one of the many life-changing success stories that Matt has created. Before any of this, though, his favorite job is being a loving husband and a dad to 2 beautiful girls. He's a tremendous passion for helping people. He's ready to extend that passion with other real estate professionals throughout the country through coaching. Matt is, just so you're aware, is one of my Jet Black elite coaches, so he coaches other team leaders. Without further ado, my good friend and top team leader, Matt Smith.
Thank you. How's everybody? I feel like the energy needs to get up in this room. Maybe I'll help. So I want to start this a little differently. I have something heavy on my heart that I want to share with you guys. So today is a very special day. Today is a special day for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons is I'm in front of you guys. So I think this is a great honor and privilege I get to share. But it goes deeper than that. You see, as many of you in this room, I wear a lot of hats. I have multiple businesses, multiple seats inside of those businesses, and there's a lot of plates that I'm spinning on a daily basis. And as John alluded to in my bio, my favorite job on the planet, or my favorite hat to wear, is being a dad. I was given that hat 12 years ago today. Today is my oldest daughter's birthday. And so I want to tell you a little story before I go into the presentation of how amazing this little girl is. So one of the things that I was very intentional on, we all have to make sacrifices to grow in business, right? And I think that sometimes the parent-child relationship can lead to work being a bad thing. You're leaving me to go to work, and so that has a negative connotation. So I've just always been very intentional with, I don't say I'm going to work. I'm going to help people today. For the longest time, she didn't know what I did for work. She just knew I helped people. She thought that was a job. And so now she obviously knows what we do. And she knows that I'm speaking at these events. I'm just very transparent with that. And so I remember having a conversation with her a couple months. John gave me the opportunity to share this stage. And I said, I got to ask permission first. It's a very special day. So I'm having a conversation with this 11-year-old girl. She just turned 12 today. And I remember I'm sitting on her bed. I'm looking at her, and I'm just like, how do I tell her that I have this event, I have her birthday? And so we just have this conversation. And I'm having a conversation. I'm just getting ready. I don't have the heart to tell her. I'm going to tell her, I got to tell John no. But I told her about the event because she loves hearing what I come back from these events, what I learn. So I told her there was an event, and I said, but I'm not going because we're going to make sure to celebrate your birthday. And she interrupted me. This 11-year-old girl interrupted me and said, no, Daddy, you need to go. Those people need you. I'll be okay. So I hope I don't let her down, and I hope I give you guys value today. But can I get you guys to do me a favor for this little girl? Can we stand up? Can we all stand up and do a video, tell her happy birthday? All right, on three. Happy birthday, Addie, okay? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Addie! Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, now let's get some things done. All right, so how 27 agents sold 104 homes in a month. That's what I'm going to go over with you today. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to go tactical. I'm going to give you proven, and we're going to go super in depth. I'm going to try to get done in time so we have questions at the end. If I don't get to it, if you have questions, come find me. I'm here to contribute. So, what is the number one lever that made that possible? I believe success leaves clues. And I've been in these rooms a lot. I find myself around the highest performers in the world, and I love it. I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to people doing better than me because I'm addicted to growth. And so what I found is, as success leaves clues, I'm in the rooms of the most successful people in the world. You guys are too, right here. And there's a common theme. If you've been in this room for more than 10 minutes, there's one lever to every team leader's growth. Recruiting solves all problems. For the longest time, maybe you're in this position, I didn't believe it. I thought, that doesn't apply to me. Thank God I opened up my mind and realized that was the number one lever. And so that is the number one lever of the talk that we're going to go over today. It's not only for my business, but John mentioned I'm a coach, and that's the number one thing that we focus on every coaching call. So many team leaders are struggling with, how do I get my agents more productive? It feels like beating your head against the wall. The easiest way to do that is to get more agents that do more things. And so we're going to unpack that. So you must always be recruiting. I'm going to talk a lot about standards and accountability. I think those are very important. Dustin shared from here. He talked about a bunch of things in his organization for his culture, and I loved it. I thought it was a great speech. I changed a little bit of the language, but we're very, very parallel in our thinking. We talk standards a lot. So I think standards and accountability is a proven part of this recipe to help you become successful in today's marketplace. So standards and accountability are important, but again, consistently bringing in new agents is the number one lever. So let's talk about the problem, and let's provide some solutions. See if you guys can relate. These are some problems that I had, and maybe you guys can relate. You can't uphold standards in your organization. You can't drive consistent productivity with your agents. They're always riding the roller coaster. Agents go on streaks and sprints. They have a great month, they take a month off. Agents leave you. Agents leave the business. 70,000 of them left last year. Life happens, a family event. Something happens, their goals change, and now you are held hostage as a leader. Agents want to slow down. They want more time. You heard it from the lady up here at the go to the board. She didn't necessarily want more money. She wanted more time. Guess what? As you're producing, and leaders, we are not in the transaction business. We're in the human development business, human attraction, human resource business. As you develop these humans, their needs are going to change from money to time. You have to be prepared for that. So the solution, again, bring in new people. But don't just bring in new people. You can be like my man Sunit. I don't know if he's in the room. He just wants warm bodies. I love him, runs a great business. Everybody does it different, right? But I want to bring in new agents with a new set of expectations and a new set of standards. You see, I used to think, one of the first talks that I ever gave, I did a really big talk on culture. And we still say in an organization, culture over sales. Culture has to come first. Your environment, the energy of your environment is the most important. But what dictates that energy, that environment? It's the standards that you have, the expectations that you have. And so why do you struggle holding standards? It's because you're not bringing in new people with new standards. So I used to say, and John called me out on this, is I want to recruit people to my culture. We have a great culture. I want to recruit people to my culture. But that was the wrong thinking. Because all of you may have a great culture right now, but is it perfect? Raise your hand if you have holes in your culture, things you wish were better. Right? It can always be better. So stop recruiting to your culture. You're recruiting to your problems. Recruit to a subculture. And the only way to do that is to bring in new people with a new set of standards and a new set of expectations. So I mentioned standards a lot. I'm going to start at step one. Step one is, if I were to ask you, what is your standard? What is your standard? Do you have one? Do you have one, number one, as a leader? But number two, do your agents know what it is? If I were to pull each one of your agents, each one of your team members aside and say, hey, what is your standard? Do they know it? Do they know what that is? Most team leaders, they don't, because we operate in vagueness. We're afraid of hurting someone's feelings. So everyone needs to have the same standard, and it has to be clear. I believe clarity is kindness. To be unclear is to be unkind. You're a team leader because you want to help people and you want to change their lives. Stop operating out of vagueness. They need to know what the standard is. 2 weeks ago, I'm still coaching with John, and he was coaching me and my leadership team, and he said this on a coaching call. I don't know if he'll remember, but it stood out to me. I think anytime that we have a conflict with a human, maybe with agents, it's a result of unmet expectations. And so does anyone ever feel like, as a team leader, maybe your agents, I don't know if let you down is the right word, but you just feel like they could have done more? Anyone with me on that? Like you feel like they left some on the field. You guys with me? You guys feel that way? Yes? No? Yes. All right, cool. So this really helped me with that because one of the things I struggle with is I see potential in people, and I want to help people grow. And so I think the mistake that I make, and maybe some of you may make as well, is that we want more for our people than they want for themselves. So this quote really, really helped me reflect on look at it through a new way. No one has ever let you down. It's your expectation of them that has. Your expectation of what you thought they wanted and what they wanted are two different things. And so I want to just encourage you to have that open dialogue. Have that clarity with your agents. Do you have a safe environment? If someone wants more time, do they feel safe enough to actually tell you that? Or are they going to say they want to sell more real estate, and then you're going to try to hold them accountable to sell more real estate, and then you guys have conflict? It's unmet expectations. Clarity is kindness. So no one has ever let you down. Your expectation of them has. I think goals are important. I'm a visionary. I'm a big thinker. One of my favorite books in the world is The Magic of Thinking Big. If you're in this room, you probably should read it if you haven't. You need big goals. You need big dreams. You need a big vision. But I think we also need a standard. So the goal is, if we accomplish it, if everything goes right, we will accomplish this. When's the last time everything went right in real estate? It just doesn't. Shit happens, right? So what is your plan when shit happens? What is your backup plan? Where's your floor of your organization? You don't go lower than. What is it? And is it clear? See, I think we spend too much time talking about goals. We don't talk enough about standards. At the end of the day, agents don't rise. We don't rise as humans to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our standards. Do you have a standard? Is it clear? Is it defined? Is it over-communicate with everyone? One of the things, too, is like I'm going to kind of yell at agents throughout this presentation, but I love them. One of the things that's important for us to realize is that sometimes it's not their fault. If we haven't been clear with those standards and those expectations, we've got to accept responsibility for that as a leader. And again, clarity is kindness. If we believe being clear to someone, doing what's best for them in a clear conversation, I'm not saying be a jerk, but be clear. Quit being vague. And if you're clear, you're being kind. That's how you help people. And I think sometimes we just are afraid to walk on eggshells. And I'll be honest, one of the reasons we walk on eggshells is because we don't want to piss an agent off and then leave us. We're handcuffed. We're held hostage. You guys ever feel that before? I got a top producer. I got to talk to them different. Not if it's your standard, you don't. It changes the game. And this is what I've been working on the last 6 months. I'm more in the weeds in my business right now than I have been in 6 years. Right now. These are the things we've been working on. I was talking to Grant Wise earlier, one of my good friends. We work on some things different on the side. And he said, "Did you get my text and call the other day?" And I showed him my phone. I have 212 unread text messages. He's like, "Oh, you're one of those guys." I said, "Typically I'm not, but I'm laser focused right now. And I'm sorry, I love you. You're just not a priority." That's where this stuff is coming from, because that's what it takes. We're having our best year ever in this market, our best year ever, because we're focused on these things. I want to help you guys get clarity around these standards. It's everything. Maybe you guys can relate with this. Do you guys feel like your agents throw away opportunities? You guys feel like that? Show of hands. Your agents throw away opportunities? Cool. What about your business? You hemorrhaging money? Is it tough to be profitable right now? Show of hands. It's because you don't have standards. I'm not going to say this is going to fix everything, but this certainly helps. And I also think that sometimes, John says this all the time, sometimes we allow the patients to run the asylum. you got to be crazy to be in real estate, right? Us and them. And so who's in charge? Are we working this together or are we against each other? And are we allowing the agents to make the decisions? Are we trying to keep the agents happy or are we actually trying to make the agents productive? Are we trying to build a community of productive people that are chasing the best version of themselves? Or do we just want people to be happy and to be la-di-da? And everybody's happy, we don't have rough waters, or do we want to actually grow something? Do we want to hold people accountable? Do we want to build people up? Do we want them to become the best version of themselves? Something else that John said in a recent call, and I think you guys could probably relate with this. You guys are high producers if you're in this room. I'd be willing to bet that this will resonate with most of you. A lot of agents, when we have a disconnect with them, after they've been with us for a little bit, it's because your environment, your high-producing environment, has allowed them and helped them outgrow their identity. And they don't know how to react. They have grown further than they thought was possible, and they don't know what the hell to do. Which is a great thing. Kudos to you for being that leader that created that environment. But if you guys feel that pain like I do, we probably need to be out ahead of that. And let's help them recreate a new identity. So I'm going to talk about gaps that I actually had in my business, and maybe you guys can relate. I think a lot of us have the same problem. So one of the gaps we had was we were keeping agents on our team that are unproductive. Anyone else? You have agents on your team right now that aren't as productive as you hoped? What are these alligator arms? Are we awake in here or what? Do you have agents on your team that are unproductive? Yes. All right, cool. Do you have agents on your team that aren't contributing to the culture? Yes. Why are they on your team? Because you don't have a standard. Why don't you have the standard? Because you're not recruiting. You guys get it? So here's a solution. Here's our standard. And you can call, I'll give you my roster. You can call through all my entire team. Every one of them know it. We sell 20 homes per year, you're not on the team. That's our standard. Before you go, and I'm a professional R&D'er, rip off and duplicate, please do. Just be careful. I'm coaching people through this, and I'm telling them this is probably too high. Because if they sell 19, that means they're out. It's a standard. It's not an idea. It's not a suggestion. So just be careful with that. Make sure it's the actual floor. I also recommend you break this down by quarter. Agents can have a bad month, but I don't want them to have a bad quarter. If they have 2 bad quarters in a row, we've got to have a serious talk. Make sense? This sounds very simple, but how many of you have it? And how many of you clearly communicate it, right? It's very important. What about the culture? What about not contributing to the culture? We all have core values, I'm sure. Do we live and breathe the core values, number one, as the leader? Do they as the agent, as the team member? And I could really just stop at number one. Our cultural standards is be a positive contributor to the team culture and the core values. There's more there, you guys can read it, but to save time, like that summarizes it. But we have a document for it, and we have a standard. And guess what? If someone doesn't show up to the office, you guys have agents that haven't been in the office in 2 weeks? Just me? All right, the rest of you little liars, that's cool. Well, guess what? Now we have a standard. It's not, hey, you have to be in the office 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, but we have a standard to be a positive influence in the office and the community. I haven't seen you. Have you been a positive influence? You guys get what I'm saying? We're going to the human psychology of people. We want contributors in our environment. Next gap we identified, lack of activity. And I know you guys can't relate with this one. All of your agents are making all the calls you want them to make every day, right? What about agents claiming leads? Or, God forbid, you're still doing the round robin approach because you want to be fair to all of your agents. Anyone have leads that aren't being worked properly? Right? What about leads that aren't being, maybe we call them, maybe on the off chance we have the speed to lead, we call them the first 5 minutes, maybe. How many times do we call them the next day? What does the first 10 days of the life cycle of the lead look like? Have you clearly identified what that is and what the standard is? What about lack of follow-up, right? Like all of these gaps we all have, but do you have a standard around it? So here's our solution. John says 35 2-minute conversations, and if you're a leader that can get that from your organization consistently, I applaud you. This is where we started. We hope to grow it. My agents actually wanted 25. I pulled it back to 20 because it was such a big stretch. I knew they wouldn't be able to get it, right? And so I want them to do this and this be a habit, and then we'll see if we need to grow it. But 22-minute conversations logged in the CRM, or it doesn't happen. Our rule is if it's not in the CRM, it didn't happen, period. No exceptions. So you want leads next week? Have 20 conversations. Prove to me that you can earn them week by week by week by week. Pretty simple. Another gap we have. You guys ever have agents that hoard leads? And I think, again, I'm not pointing the finger at agents. It's just the reality, right? And I'm not saying that they're at fault. I'm just saying that sometimes they don't know better, and maybe we need to put a safety net and a standard in place so they can think differently. Because do more leads equal more sales? But your agents think they do. Because guess what the pandemic market taught them? If you got more leads, one of them will fall at the cracks, and one of them will fall in my lap, and I'll be able to help them buy or sell real estate. They think that's how it still works, even though it's not. I think it's like you spending all of your money, take your lead gen budget per month, and just throw it at a wall, and let's see what sticks. That's how most of us operate our business, and that's what our agents think that they want. That's what they think that they want. But our job as leaders is not to give them what they want. We need to give them what they need. What if we could help them create a predictable, scalable, repeatable business? By, instead of having more leads, let's have the right leads. Let's actually nurture a relationship. Let's actually have a proven follow-up strategy. Let's work on purpose. Let's be actually proactive with our business instead of waiting in a reactionary state. So what's our solution? And I learned this a long time ago. I just never implemented it. We do it every month now. The agents pick their top 100. If they don't, I'll pick them for them. But I want them to pick their top 100. Now, we have 56, 57,000 leads in our database right now. And so the majority of them live in a pond. And I'll show you our pond access of how that works and how that's distributed. Because I believe in treating everyone fairly. But that does not mean equally. There's a big difference. So agents identify their top 100 each and every month. Another problem. What about agents holding on to leads and them gathering them leads and then they just don't work them properly? They either don't have the right conversation or they text them for their follow-up so it disappears, so it doesn't get swept or whatever. They're just trying to trick the system. You guys feel that, right? So we implemented this standard. We have a lead sweep. Again, the patients aren't running the asylum. And I'm not doing this to take away. I'm doing this to contribute, to help them. Because if they don't call that lead, and this is how and I'll go into how I enroll people into this, but this lead sweep was a hard one for me to actually feel like I could get buy-in. But it actually went really well. You know how I handled it? In case if you want to do this, you got to get buy-in. And we'll go over how to do that in just a second, how to enroll them. But our core focus as a real estate company is changing lives. We just happen to do that through real estate. So guess what this lead really is? It's not a lead, it's not a name, it's not a phone number. It's a family that's trying to make the biggest purchase or sale of their life, and they need help. And if you don't have the capacity and you don't follow up like you said you would, they deserve better. And if you don't disagree, we're probably not the right organization for you, right? Like, that's pretty simple. Guess what? We put this in place, now the clients get served. Who doesn't want the clients served at a higher level, right? Everyone raises their hand in the organization. All right, we've got a lead sweep process. So what does the lead sweep process look like? And again, this goes really in depth, but I'm just kind of giving you the overview. Number one, lead sweeps are only for agents in agents' databases, their top 100. Excludes their sphere. So we use Follow Up Boss. We have Admin Smart List. I'll give you a quick example. One of our follow-up stages, you guys probably have something similar, is a weekly follow-up stage. So the agent, it pops in their smart list. They're supposed to call them every 7 days. Well, it shows up on day 7 in their smart list. We have a leeway time where we give them a grace period because things happen. In our case, it's probably too much, but I don't want to sweep leads. I just don't. We give them 7 days of it being living on that smart list. We warn them. They get a note and Follow Up Boss through an automation. You have till 3 p.m. today to call this lead or it's going to the pond. And if they don't do it, I don't know what I'm doing here. Somebody's clicking on my slides. Can we go back? Anyway, ignore that. They'll fix it. So if you don't call them, they're going to be swept to the pond. And I'll show you what that looks like for the agents that have opportunities for those lead sweeps. This is our pond This is our pond layout. So We implemented the money time pond. Thank you, Chris Snow. Been a game changer for our business. I'm not going to waste the time. He's the expert on it. We just implemented it. Travis Halverson helped us with that as well. It's worked phenomenal guess what? You want the money time pond? You want new lead flow? Have the 20 conversations. Pretty simple. Everyone signs up for a duty shift. You get all the leads. After day 10, they automatically move to a neglected lead pond where all agents have an opportunity. So if we didn't get a contact in the first 10 days, guess what? You want opportunity, go get it. Archive pond is over 30 days or an archive status, whatever it may be. That's where the old or quote unquote bad leads would be. But guess how many new registrations we got from the archive pond just this morning before I came to the event? Anyone want to guess? 7. Those are the bad leads, right? So the swept leads, where do they go? They go to a stocked pond. Our stocked pond is to get access to the stocked pond, which this is all admin settings and follow boss. You have to be on agent level 2 or above. Again, I believe in treating everyone fairly. That doesn't mean equally. How do you get on agent level 2 or above? You close 1.5 or more houses per month. You got to show me you can close homes. I'll give you the better leads. My speech I really give to my agents is I don't want to, if I'm in my organization as an agent, I don't want new leads. Just give me the stock pond. That's where the gold is. Because we already said we needed to follow up with them. We just failed to, but we had a valid two-way conversation. That's where the money is, right? All right, so now you've implemented some of these standards. I think we fall short after this as well. I certainly did. We have the standards in place. A quick rule of thumb that I have, it's a quick equation so I don't forget. 6 equals 0, 7 equals 1. That means as a leader, if I've told them 6 times, I assume I've told them 0. I spent hours and days and weeks and months building these standards. I'm rolling them out once to them and I expect them to know it like I do. We have to over-communicate. We have to be chief repeating officers. And so my leadership team knows until we've said it 7 times, we haven't said it once. The first time we feel we've said it is that on the 7th time that we've rolled something out. We've reminded them. So now you implemented the standards. Do you have a proven process that they can accomplish that standard? For this exercise, we'll talk about 20 closings a year. Do you have a playbook that if you follow it, you'll get to 20 closings? If you don't, I'll walk you through it. Here's my playbook to 20. I took all the good stuff out. Not because I don't want to contribute, because I want to give you the most value I can. I'm happy to share this with you. But I ask you to spend some time in your business. What is your plan? What is your process to get to your standard? Send it to me. I'll review it for free, and I'll send you mine as a copy. But you need to do the work before you just R&D this. That would be doing such a disservice. I don't know your business. Does that make sense? It's 5 to 7 bullet points. Simple. But if you follow these 5 to 7 things, you will sell 20 houses a year, period. We believe in our proven process so much, and John doesn't even know about this yet. He's probably going to yell at me. If you join our team, I will guarantee you'll make $100,000 a year if you follow our proven process, or I'll pay the difference. Guaranteed. You know what our average median income is for our area? It's about $26,000. That's how much I believe in our standards and our process. But here's why I know I've done this. I've had that playbook for years. There is nobody that has followed it that has not crushed their goals, not just demolished them. Maybe there will be some, but I got the playbook, and I believe in it enough that I will guarantee you'll make $100,000 in the first year if you follow the playbook, or I'll pay you the difference. Do you have that proven process of your standards in your organization? All right, that was a lot of talk on standards. Now we talk about accountability. Standards are great. We got to be able to hold people accountable. So how do you enroll them in the process? Chep talked about this a lot. Self-discovery. So when we enrolled these agents into the process, I didn't just, don't take these things, go back and say, hey guys, here's what we're doing. I just got another conference, we're changing everything. I've done that, don't do that, right? It doesn't work. So make sure that whenever you're bringing this stuff back, number one, start with what's most urgent in your business. Don't implement it all at once. This has been 6-9 months of in-depth work for our organization to get here. And so self-discovery is powerful. So part of the role play that we did, we'll have a team meeting and we'll help them by asking leading questions and mention the gaps that we saw. And guess what? They see the same things. Oh, wow, Sean's on my team, he's one of my agents, and Sean would say, I see a gap on these, I was in the money time pond and I saw these leads didn't get worked properly. Awesome, Sean, thanks for bringing that up. What do you think we could do about that? He gives me the solution. The other agents agree. Now it's their idea, not mine. They're way more likely to do it. And then you just get them to commit to the standard. It becomes a new standard. Hold them accountable to it. Again, I like the agreement dialogue. I'll probably be using some of that. Thanks, Dustin. But here's a crucial one. Let's say that an agent on your team, you roll a new standard, and they follow it, and they have a win. All it takes is one. Those doubters, those naysayers, those ones that are always reluctant to change, they see other people winning, and it's not just something you as a leader are saying. Now they're going to want to start doing it too. How good are you at highlighting the people that are doing the new process, that are having the results, that are following the process that you want everyone else to follow? Be great at putting them on a pedestal, and then allow them to share. Stand up in the team meeting and share what's working for them. And then other people magically want to do that. So you have to enroll your agents. Super important part. Even with the perfect enrollment plan, you'll still get pushback. Standards are standards for a reason. I remember having this conversation with our leadership team. And one of the things I put here at the bottom is remember why you started. Why are you doing the standard? Are you doing it to be a jerk? Because agents can be convincing, right? That agent's been with you for years and they're like, man, this standard does not work. It doesn't work for me. It's not really the standards problem. It's just you're not adapting, right? But they can convince us. So I just want to encourage you. You're putting these standards in place so that you can provide value and help them live the life that they said they want to live. And so as we were getting pushback, as we were rolling these things out, this was me to my leadership team. You guys ever seen this movie? We got to hold the line. We got to hold. Well, they're pushing back. They're going to leave. Let them. Remember why we started. We're doing this to help them. We're not doing this to hurt them. If they don't want us to help them, we can't help them. So let's recommunicate the why. Let's recommunicate the vision and the purpose and hold the line. And lo and behold, best month in the history of our company. Pretty crazy. In this market.
Hell yeah. Yes. Hell yeah.
Here's something that's very important. When you're putting your standards, a standard that isn't enforced is not a standard. Just because you use the word standard doesn't make it a standard. If you don't enforce it, it's just a suggestion. Stop making suggestions to your agents and actually build standards. We have an agent performance improvement plan process for ones that are falling below standard. So if you guys want to take a picture of that, it's really pretty simple. We review them quarterly. Again, measure on a quarterly measuring stick. If you're below standard, we have a meeting. Guess what we go over in the meeting? We go over our playbook to 20. I want you to tell me, on the scale of 1 to 10, on item 1, where do you feel you were this quarter? How well did you perform? Oh, on number 2, on number 3, on number 4. They identified their own gaps of your proven playbook. That makes the coaching conversation easier. And now they know what they need to do. You recommit, and then you look for the activities, not necessarily the results in the next quarter. Gets them back on track, or they self-select and leave. But it's got to be a standard. Of course, exceptions apply, right? Don't be a jerk. If they got death in the family, life happens. Common mistake. Don't recreate the wheel. Don't go back and say, man, Matt just talked about these standards and they're killing it. I'm going to go back and implement all those standards tomorrow. Before you go and start implementing the standards, go back to my 20 conversations versus Chet Black's recommendation of 35. If I go back and go 35, I will have mutiny on my hands. Don't recreate the wheel. You don't necessarily always need new standards. Just enforce the standards you already have. Guess what? You enforce standards, people will leave. Good. Let them. You're not for everybody. Guess who will leave? The people that you all raised your hand and said that you had unproductive and people that weren't contributing. That's who's going to leave first. It's a good thing, right? It allows everybody to get realignment. I was going to go, we tried to find some handcuffs, but all we could find, I was going to have a prop, was fuzzy ones, and I thought that would be weird. So we didn't. But don't operate your business handcuffed. Like I said, the patients run the asylum. Don't operate your business handcuffed. Now, I'm not saying overrule them and be a dictator. You're business partners. You're in this together. But bring them along with you. And at the end of the day, you have to protect the business, which protects them. And they need to understand that. All this goes back to recruiting. One of the biggest mistakes I made in my business last year. Last year, we actually, in 2023, we slightly increased our volume, just slightly. Almost the first year in history that we didn't increase, but we did. And the number one reason that we did not grow how we should have grown is we stopped recruiting. We brought in 30 agents in 30 days, 20 agents in 30 days. We had 20 agents, we doubled in a 30-day period. And guess what happened? We freaked out. Everything's gonna break. We gotta slow down. And we didn't hit our goals. So don't stop recruiting. Learn from my mistakes. If you don't have a consistent recruiting plan, you can't enforce the standards, and you can't hold agents accountable. When I said handcuffed, I want to tell a little story there. Does anyone feel like sometimes you have to appease your agents and you have to do what they want you to do? Is it just me? Surely I can't be the only one, right? Right? Thank you. We got some honesty. It's okay. But maybe you don't have these standards in place that everyone's in alignment with. Or you don't have a line out the door of people that want to join your organization, and so you feel held hostage. You have those fuzzy handcuffs on because you don't have a line of people waiting to get into your organization, want to be a part of what you're creating. If you recruit consistently, it inspires friendly competition. I love it when my agents compete with each other. I love it. I'm going to show you some proof of concept here in a minute. Boosts team culture, builds and maintains momentum, and it reinforces the standards. It allows you to grow an organization from the bottom up versus top down. Stop cracking the whip as a leader. Let other people lead your people. What did Chep say earlier? You need to be able to scale yourself before you can scale a business. Scale yourself by empowering others through standards that they are now upholding other people to. When you bring people in an organization that bring in the new set of standards with new activities and new expectations to recruit to that subculture, they fill the gaps in your organization for you. And I'll show you proof of concept just from 90 days ago, in just a minute. In our business, new recruits outperform top producers. We create real estate agents. Most of you don't want new agents. We seem to be doing okay. But we're bringing them on with a new set of standards and a new set of expectations because we know that's what's best for them. The hardest thing to do as a leader is to get people to change human behavior is the hardest thing to do on the planet. Quit beating your head against the wall and allow the agent population to influence the activities and the standards and the behaviors and the expectations of everyone else in your organization. It doesn't need to be you. You just have to facilitate. In the last 90 days, we've onboarded 16 brand new agents and our first experienced agent in like 2 years. And here's their 90-day result. The last 90 days. So there was 2 onboarding classes. Some of them are about at their 90-day mark, and some of them, about half of them, at their 60-day mark. Here is their numbers. 1,881 conversations in the last 90 days. 150 appointments set. Brand new. Never sold real estate. Learned what we taught them. 82 appointments met. 62 agreements signed. Their met to signed ratio is about 50% better than our existing agent population. Is that an important metric right now with the landscape of real estate? Yes. They don't know any better. They just follow the process. And guess what? Guess who's going to teach our class to our agents on how to get a buyer's agency signed? New agents. And they love to do it. They're happy to do it. They get that fulfillment of giving back and contributing to others. And you guys understand leading and lagging indicators in this room. What is this going to look like in 90 days from now? Everything's going to move to the right side of that graph. What is the closing going to look like? It's going to be through the roof. I wouldn't have 62 agreements signed in my organization right now if I didn't recruit. Makes a big difference. But there's more. Most buyer's agencies signed, again, landscape of today's world, our world, is buyer's agencies an important thing to get signed? But I can't get buyer's agency signed, Matt. You don't understand. They can. You guys get it? But there's more. I want to give you guys proof and substance. Nicole joined our team in April. So we have an extensive onboarding program. How you onboard them is everything. At any time you can't revisit a conversation of unmet expectations with one of your agents, if you can't revisit the interview or the onboarding, you're doing it wrong. Are you setting the proper expectations at the beginning? Guess what our first 2 weeks of onboarding is called? Boot camp. It's not easy, and not everybody makes it, and that's how we like it. Guess what? Not everybody's made to be in real estate, and that's okay. Doesn't make them wrong, but I'd rather learn the first 2 weeks than learn 90 days later where they have all of that more pain, right, and that suffering. So Nicole joined about 90 days ago. She set 17 buyer appointments, 3 listing appointments, and currently has 4 homes under contract. Brand new, never sold real estate. Me, Cody, joined our team in November. In 2023, he set 9, so 1 month. Nobody buys houses at the Lake of the Ozarks in December, just so you know. 9 buyer appointments in the first month, 2 homes under contract. In 2024, 51 buyer appointments, 4 listing appointments, currently has 10 homes under contract, and he's already closed 6. So I'm going to ask you again, as you're going through this presentation, do you have agents that are struggling to adjust to the new activities in this marketplace? We have to be understanding of that. But this is how you fix it. Versus beating your head against the wall, versus throwing shit. I've tried it all. It just doesn't work. Bring in new people with new standards, new expectations, and have them show the way. Oh, I went ahead of myself. It's almost like I built this. And I think so many people, just like agents don't follow up because they don't know what to say, I think so many of us don't recruit because they don't know where to start. I don't want a cold call. I don't know that person. We can just think of all these excuses, just like our agents have excuses of not lead generating or prospecting. We have the same. Again, the number one reason that we're able to have 127 units pending right now, after we just got 104 last month, is we have a consistent, proven recruiting system. The recruiting system to keep your pipeline full. Think about it this way. If you don't have a recruiting lead generation machine, it's just like agents operating a business without buyer and seller leads. It's so important. My screen keeps changing up here. What are you guys doing to me? So, I'm going to end on this. Look at that, right on time. If you could get these proven recruiting funnels that have delivered these results built for you to drive motivated, hungry recruits who want to be a part of your organization, who want to be a part of this industry, who want to have the experience to change their lives that you can create in your environment, who would be interested? You guys want those? Here's where you get them. 3recruitingfunnelsbuilt.com. In the spirit of contribution, we are sharing those. This has been a 3-year project that I've been working on, and it's not perfect by any means, but it's working for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have already done this in this room, and if you run the play and you run it consistently, and you give it 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and you just keep running the play, you will have hand raisers that want to be part of your organization with the new standards you set, with the new expectations that you want to change, that are begging to be part of what you created. That is, as John Cheplack says, in my organization, that is the one thing that changed everything. Thank you, guys.